looking? Right here? All right. Okay.
There's one thing I'd like to start with is there's this perception out there, maybe amongst some, that you're sort of one-dimensional in terms of being all about education, maybe not as well-rounded enough to be governor and face all the different issues that a governor would face. Can you speak to that perception?
I think Hoosiers are going to find out that I'm not one-dimensional in any way. Education, however, is going to be a key issue in moving the economy forward. As that campaign rolls out, I'm going to be talking to Hoosiers all over the state. You'll see some policy briefs come out, and you'll find out that I'm well-informed and have great ideas on how to move Indiana forward.
At what point did the governor's job look attractive?
Well, you know what? After the last General Assembly, the very last day, and the things in the budget bill and the items that they were putting in there to really erode the Department of Education, I started thinking seriously about what was best for families and children in the state of Indiana. I get frustrated at the state level not seeing that connection between education and the economy, seeing a lot of action to take place. We are 38th in the nation in per capita income. Our per capita income is like $38,800 compared to $44,500 at the national level. We have work to do in Indiana.
What can you do as governor that you can't do in the state's condition?
Oh my goodness. Well, so as governor, obviously we can look at the entire system, not just one aspect of it, and connecting all of those pieces together. You heard me say in my speech, I want to bring state government to the local level, right to the people. How do we work together to make things happen rather than it being two separate, totally separate systems that are really disconnected a great deal of the time.
Well, back to education. The last time the governor was out here, he touted the state's budget towards education as a complete win. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, you know what? It's not all about the money. It's about providing services where they're needed. It's also about not wanting to just proliferate more schools in Indiana. A great deal of that funding was about the proliferation of more schools rather than focusing on the needs of the kids in the schools in which they're already attending.
You know, one of the things that happened this year was the controversy over ISTEP, and Governor Pence has held for teacher accountability. What are some of the things you would do differently for teacher accountability or ISTEP in general?
Well, ISTEP in general, first of all, those pieces that came up were not in controversy. My department already had prepared the test according to the state statute. We couldn't shorten the test unless we had legislative action. I already knew that. He already knew that. So we proceeded with that. Regarding testing, I'm all about making sure that we're putting in growth model assessments rather than the pass-fail approach. I'm hoping that we're going to get some leeway from the federal government with the reauthorization of No Child Left Behind to give the states flexibility to actually do just that.
You know, you mentioned earlier the legislative session focusing your decision to run. Do you think it's fair to say that because of that battle over your position as chairperson of the State Board of Education, that really helped launch this campaign?
Well, education is certainly my largest priority. As the superintendent of public instruction, that's where I focus all my efforts. But you know, I see the bigger picture, and the connection between education and economy is so huge that we just have to be moving forward on that.
Is it because of the Republicans this is why you're running?
Is what?
Is it because the Republicans all ambushing you all these last 3 years? Is this why you're
running? No, it's about making sure that we are moving Indiana forward with all of those items that I talked about, whether it's education, jobs, economic revival, community revitalization. It's about the approach to serve the needs of our people. We have 22% poverty of our children. We cannot continue to ignore that. We have wraparound services that are needed. We have schools that are providing food pantries now, sending home food with our children that are in need over the weekends. We have great needs in Indiana, and I just feel like we're not moving fast enough, nor are we having the right approach to making sure that we're having change.
Well, speaking of moving Indiana forward, the Religious Freedom Restoration Act caused quite a bit of backlash nationally, with several businesses threatening to pull out of Indiana. Do you think that the damage has been done, or do you think there's something that could be done on your
Well, I hope when I'm elected governor, we're going to be passing, even before I'm elected governor, we better be passing a bill that gives everybody the same equal rights in the state of Indiana. It's just a must that Indiana go on the record and say we value everybody in the state of Indiana, just period. So I hope that happens before I'm elected governor, but if it doesn't, I look forward to signing such a bill.
Is Pence vulnerable? Did you make your decision before RFRA blew up?
I made my decision after the General Assembly ended on April 30th. And I said I was going to take a look at what was best for children and families in Indiana. I said I was going to announce in June after the school year was over, and here I am.
Back to education, last question. One of the largest school districts in our viewing area, South Bend Community School Corporation, the superintendent, when Governor Pence came here, kind of refuted his claim that it is a complete plan for education. For urban schools in districts like that, what's your plan to help them get more funding or more resources that they need to move forward?
Well, there needs to be equity in some resources, and there needs to be additional resources to those where we have great poverty. So in order to make that happen, you have to make sure that you're looking at your tuition formula in a good way, and also channeling that with our federal dollars. So I look at both, making sure that we're going to get support pieces to it. So I am well aware that our more urban districts did not get the funding that they needed. They got some cuts, and so I'm going to be looking at the federal balance that I might be able to provide at the state level through the federal government monies, and see if we can balance some of that out. I am absolutely dedicated for our outreach programs to be helping the schools in the state of Indiana, and we'll just continue what we're doing.
You're now the third
Thank
Democrat
you.
to join the race. When Senator Karen Talley announced, she sort of positioned herself as the progressive alternative to John Gray.